Hi, this is Richard Stancic with WatchYourself.com, and this is a new top 10 video list. This one is top 10 dive watches under $300, but it's for 2012. Now, the last time I did a top 10 video list, I had a lot of people not like the choices I made. And I think there were a couple reasons for that. One is that I picked some Invicta watches. Some people don't like Invicta no matter what. And the other is because I picked Invicta watches and maybe one or two others that people don't consider to be true dive watches. In other words, some people were checking out the list expecting it to be about watches that real divers use. Okay, fair enough. Finally, another issue was that people didn't like the order I put them in. So, I've decided to do a new list for 2012, a new top 10 video list on dive watches. I've spent a lot of time reading forums, trying to find out what people like as far as real dive watches, real brands. I'm going to do this presentation as a top 10 list, but not numbered. I'm going to try to do it in order of value or cost, price, rather than worst to best or anything like that. I'm going to include several models from some brands, and I'm going to include some interesting picks, I hope, and I'm going to try and get all of the different really good 300 or under dive watches, and I'm not going to include Invicta. I've decided to do other lists about Invicta maybe in the future if I do them, if I get around to it. So that's what this list is. Top 10 dive watches under $300 for 2012. I hope that you like it. I'm sure there's going to be people that won't like something about this list, and that's okay. If you have something that you would like to add or change, or you would change on your list, that is, go ahead and comment below. But be instructive. Explain to people why you would pick or wouldn't pick a watch. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks a lot. Here goes.
Number 1.
Love it or hate it, the Vostok Amphibia is a truly classic dive watch. Why do I say that? Well, this is a dive watch that's made in Russia, and they've been making them for years. It's a very unusual retro-looking watch. And some people don't like the look of them, but these watches are available for around $70 and up, depending on the configuration that you get. These are an automatic mechanical watch, and they are stainless steel. They are a true dive watch, watertight to 200 meters, and they're available in various styles because of customizing both the band or strap and the bezel. A lot of do-it-yourselfers work on the style of the Vostok Amphibia or amphibian and make it their own. Additionally, they come with a variety of different dials or face styles, depending on what your preference is. Not everybody likes this watch, but amazingly, it is a true dive watch that can be had for as little as around $70. And it's really kind of a true classic that many people collect and modify themselves.
Number 2.
For the next choice, I decided to go with Wanger dive watches. Okay, the reason for that is because at the time of creating this video, you can buy a Wanger Battalion 3 watch for $89.95 online, just under $90. Well, for $90 you get a Swiss-made, Swiss quartz watch, 44mm, 200-meter dive watch with unidirectional bezel and a mineral crystal. I don't know how you could beat that deal unless you really need or really want an automatic watch. However, the Wanger Battalion is not the only watch that they make that's worth considering and an excellent value. They also make the Alpine Diver series, which is a watch that's 200-meter water resistant Swiss quartz with a very traditional dive style for a little over $100. And then the watch that made my last top 10 dive watches under $300 list is the Aquagraph 1000 meter watch for less than 300 bucks easily, that's a pretty awesome dive watch for the money. Some of them cost more. It depends on if you get a stainless steel bracelet or what kind of configuration you get. But in any case, Wanger offers several choices in Swiss-made, Swiss quartz timepieces that are definitely dive ready and in a variety of styles. So definitely worth consideration.
Number 3.
Next on our list is a brand that made my previous top 10 dive watch list, the Orient Mako series watches. Whether the original Orient Mako or the Mako 2, which is a larger watch, Orient watches in general are very highly regarded for their quality. Orient is a Japanese company and they use in-house movements in their watches, and starting at around $95 or so, you can get an Orient Mako watch, which is a 200-meter dive watch with an automatic movement, and they go up a little bit from there, but not too much, to well under $200 for a Mako XL, which is also an automatic 200-meter watch. Available in a variety of colors with stainless steel bands and rubber straps. Really, Orient Mako watches seem to be beyond reproach, especially for the money. Very popular among those who know the brand.
Number 4.
Next up, we're going to consider dive watches from Momentum. Momentum makes a series of dive watches including the M1, the M1 Deep 6, the M50, the Deep 6 Vision, the Shadow 2, the Storm 2, and they make a lot of other watches, but these are primarily their dive watches. Although their M1 series starts as low as $75 for women, the men's version starts at around $115. This is for a 200-meter dive watch with a Japanese quartz movement, with a very modern style and rugged appearance in a somewhat traditional size. The M1 Deep 6, however, is an oversized watch with a case size just over 48 millimeters. And while still staying under our $300 mark, the M50 from Momentum features sapphire crystal, long life battery, and a depth rating of 500 meters. So all in all, a very capable dive watch in a somewhat mid-sized format of 44 millimeters. The M50 is available in a somewhat narrower range of colors than the M1, but a very capable professional dive watch available for under $300. All in all, the Momentum lineup really deserves taking a look at if you're in the market for a quartz dive watch.
Number 5.
Next up, we have a couple of watches from Bernhardt Watch Company. Now, what makes Bernhardt watches special is not necessarily the technical advancements or even the styling. They're not necessarily that avant-garde in terms of styling, but rather the fact that it's a family-owned business operating in the United States. That's kind of unusual. Two models that Bernhardt features are the Field Diver, which is available for $149. This watch features a somewhat unique bezel because it does not have a traditional bezel insert, but rather features a cast bezel design. This watch features a Ronda Swiss quartz movement. It's water resistant to 200 meters, has a screw down crown, and slightly small at 39 millimeters, but a typical dive watch size, and features two finishes. One is in a combination brushed and polished case and bracelet design, and the other is in a black IP coated design. The design of this watch is intended to be that of a tactical or law enforcement agency type watch. The slightly higher end offering from Bernhardt is the Sea Shark. It's also a slightly larger watch at 42 millimeters. It features a Miyota 8215 automatic movement, which is a Japanese automatic movement. Also a sapphire crystal, and this watch is available in 4 colors. The bezel is black in all 4 colors, but the dial of this watch can come in red, green, black, and blue. And the Sea Shark features super luminova on the hands and indices, so it's going to have good lume in the dark. And the stainless steel bracelet is a screwed together bracelet rather than using friction pins. The bracelet of the Sea Shark also features solid end links. So altogether, this is an amazingly well-made watch for the money. $240 essentially. All in all, the Sea Shark and Field Diver watches from Bernhardt are amazing, and the promise of quality that you get with this company is a reason that Bernhardt watches are something that you should consider.
Number 6.
Okay, next up in our collection are watches from Deep Blue. Deep Blue made our last list of top 10 dive watches under $300, and I still think that they represent a great value in dive watches. Deep Blue has a watch series called the Pro 1000 meter series. In that it includes the Pro Tac Diver 1K and the Pro Sun Diver and the Pro Sea Diver. The reason that these watches are next in the list is because at the time of recording this video, you can get a Deep Blue AP chronograph, which means all-purpose chronograph, which is a 200 meter diver, available for $149. So that puts it next in our list in terms of price. Now, from there, Deep Blue watches go up to $199 for the Pro Tac Diver, which used to be named the All-Purpose Diver. The styling of the Pro Tac Diver is different than the original AP Diver though, and includes a lugged case, which is a more stylish look in my opinion. These are a 1000 meter dive watch, and they feature a Seiko day-date quartz movement, sapphire crystal, super luminous hands, and triple O-ring crown, and double O-ring case back. And most Deep Blue watches feature manual helium release valves. Other Deep Blue watches do cost more, but as of right now, the Pro Sea Diver, which is a watch with a Miyota automatic movement, is available for $299, bringing it just under our $300 price point. That may not be the case if you're watching this video a year from now. Nevertheless, Deep Blue has a pretty good selection of watches that are available under the $300 price point, and if your budget allows for more, of course you could go for one of their more expensive models, such as the Depthmaster 3000. All in all, Deep Blue offers a really rugged and bold looking design. So that's the series from Deep Blue watches.
Number 7.
Next on our list comes dive watches from Seiko. Although Seiko dive watches are a favorite among many divers and watch lovers, they can be found for as little as $162, which makes them fit the number 4 spot on our list because of their price. And Seiko dive watches include the SKZ, the SKA, and the SSC, and the SKX models. I'm not including the SNZ lineup in this video because the SNZ models are water resistant to 100 meters, which is generally not considered dive worthy. Let's take a look at some of the most notable models of Seiko dive watches. A number of Seiko dive watches are available with Seiko automatic movements. These include the SKX series, which is famous for the Orange Monster and the Black Monster lineup, as well as some other models which use the same movement and have the same basic form factor, but without the more prominent bezel. They utilize a crown that is found at the 4 o'clock position and seem to all be regarded as high quality in the watch world among divers. The SKZ series features this model, which comes in a variety of color styles but includes this prominent trim ring around the case and gives it a large, bold look. This is a 47mm watch and has its own following as a preference among divers. The SKZ lineup also includes some interesting watches with what Seiko calls the map meter. This is an interesting device that actually uses a small wheel that a person can use to map out a distance on a map using the scale by rolling the wheel on the surface of the map, telling them a distance to be traveled. A very interesting function. Another great style from Seiko is the SSC lineup. The SSC models include a selection of divers chronographs, and these are a great looking divers chronograph, still water resistant to 200 meters and available in a variety of colors. And these watches feature a solar powered quartz chronograph movement. And finally, Seiko also offers the SKA watches. Some of these are dive watches as well, again water resistant to 200 meters, but instead of offering an automatic movement, these feature the Seiko kinetic movement, which is one that uses the motion of the person wearing it to create energy to power a quartz movement. With these movements, you never have to worry about running the battery down, and so they combine the best of both worlds with regard to automatic and quartz movements. Seiko is renowned for quality and has a huge variety of different watches that are suitable for diving and have a reputation among divers for being a true dive watch.
Number 8.
With an entry price point of $165, Citizen dive watches are number 3 on our top 10 list. The previous list featured the BJ8050, which is a 300 meter dive watch featuring an Eco Drive movement. However, for $165, you can get an Eco Drive BN0000, which is also a professional dive watch at a very reasonable price. Citizen Eco Drive watches also include other models such as the BN0085, and all of the Citizen dive watches in this price bracket feature Eco Drive movements, and they're available from between $165 and a little under $300. An exception to that price, however, is the BJ2000 series. This one's available in the 09E and the 08E, the difference being some gold accents. This watch is available for a little bit more than $315 from an authorized dealer, which is important if you want a warranty. However, this watch is an Eco Drive watch and features a depth meter, and at just a tiny bit over our limit of $300, I thought it would be important for you to know about this watch if that's your price bracket. It might be affordable and worth a few extra dollars to buy this particular model. All in all, in this price bracket, Citizen dive watches do not have as many different watches to offer style-wise compared to other manufacturers. However, Citizen dive watches are very highly regarded within the watch and diving world for their dive watches.
Number 9.
Starting at around $189, our number 2 pick is unfortunately getting harder and harder to find, and it's the Victorinox Divemaster 500 quartz watch for under $300. These watches vary in price somewhat from $189 currently up to around $1,000 for some versions, depending on various factors. However, for the entry price of under $300, you get a Swiss-made stainless steel watch, which has an anti-reflective sapphire crystal, unidirectional bezel, a screw-down crown, and case back. One of the cool features of this watch, in addition to its water resistance to 500 meters, is the fact that there is a date magnifier, but it's under the crystal above the date, and so that's a pretty nifty feature. The case diameter is 43 millimeters with a 14 millimeter thick case, and the lug spacing is 22 millimeters. So what you get is Victorinox quality, Swiss made, and a really great looking high quality watch, but they're getting harder to find for under $300. So if you find one, grab it while you still can if you're interested in the Victorinox Divemaster.
Number 10.
Last on our list, and starting just a little over $200, Reactor dive watches. For just under $220, the Reactor Heavy Water Analog Watch is the starting point for the Reactor lineup. Reactor watches do go up to around $1,000, but they have several models that come in under the $300 price point. These include the heavy water, the Fallout models, as well as some of the critical mass models. Reactor prides itself in having very heavy-duty cases and case-to-band connections. Reactor watches feature Reactor DNA, which gives them a tough design that unifies the line in terms of toughness and style. Reactor watches are available in a variety of colors across many of their styles. If you're looking for a unique style, a rugged build, and a watch that not everybody will recognize as soon as they see it, be sure to check out Reactor watches. Okay, so that was my top 10 dive watches under $300 for 2012. Don't forget, I put them in order of price, and I tried really hard to include all of the really good true dive watches for $300. Now maybe there's ones that you feel shouldn't be on the list, maybe there's ones you feel should, but I think that I got most of the really good ones, and there's some debate. So comment below if you have something you'd like to say, but Don't be a jerk. Oh, and if you like this video and my other videos, please be sure to subscribe because I plan on doing a lot more top 10 video lists in the future. Thanks for watching.